Hey, what's up everybody? This is Flatline. Thanks for tuning in. I just want to do a quick little video on ZRX. So here we just have ZRX on the monthly scale. We are using just good old-fashioned line chart. You always want to start with the highest time frame, right, and work your way in. So in my opinion, this is an extremely bullish overall chart pattern, chart appearance, if you will. So what we have here is a classic impulse wave up, and now we're in this nice consolidation range, as you'll see here. Right, it looks like we're forming a symmetric triangle and consolidate, and I suspect eventually we will make another strong move out. Eventually, when, I don't know. So just want to start out there. Let's go ahead and move to the weekly. We're going to switch this to some candles. Here we have the 20 period EMA, and so this is our all-time high, right? Go ahead and just mark this off as a resistance, and let's just see what's going on lately. So here today we just, or I guess it's yesterday now, we touched this upper trend line, right? So trend line is tentative with 2 touches, and it becomes a valid trend line once you have 3 touches. So we formed our 3rd touch yesterday. And how about the lower margin? We'll set it here, so we're still tentative here, okay? And then, so that's just for this specific descending wedge, but for this entire consolidation period, I'm going to go ahead and say, again referring to the monthly, I'm going to go ahead and draw this as a tentative trend line here. I'm going to make it a different color, and we can just go ahead and annotate this as monthly, just for us to remember. Okay. And so looks like we're just bouncing up and down this descending wedge, right? So probability, you tend to break upwards out of a descending wedge, right? Let's switch it to the actually, before we do that, I want to show you one thing on the monthly chart. Now let's do this on the weekly. As you'll see here, is we have a nice support level at the 40 RSI, right? So major levels that act as support and resistance on the RSI are going to be 40, sorry, it's not exact, 60. Look at that, look how perfect that hit off the 60. And this is just in general rule for RSI. 40 and 60 are support and resistance, as is 30, 70, and then 50 functions as support and resistance. So we are right, obviously the week we're like in the middle of the week, so it's going to be really important to see how we end up closing the week out. If we end up closing the week out above the 50 RSI, I think that'll be extremely bullish, because that will be a significant resistance we will have broken. Furthermore, we're also forming, we also had a descending wedge on the RSI, and again, these are tentative trend lines because we only have 2 touches, so the more touches on a trend line, the more significant it is, the stronger it is, and also the longer time period it's present, the stronger it is, the more significant it is. So looks like we just broke out of this descending wedge on the RSI, which is bullish. My guess is that we are going to actually have a pullback. We're going to end up seeing the 50 RSI as a resistance, and maybe have a little pullback here and confirm this prior resistance as a support and then bounce back up, but we'll see. Obviously you just want to trade what the market gives you. You don't want to waste too much energy on forecasting or create too much bias in your mind. So we're coming down, bouncing back and forth between the support and resistance of these trend lines in this descending wedge. Go ahead and switch it to the daily chart. And I'm going to go ahead and clear all this, clear this stuff out. Okay, so here's we're still in this channel, and so I ended up entering I was kind of ignoring the markets for a while. So I unfortunately didn't buy down here. I ended up entering about here, 9723. And I also bought a little more when we broke out, when we broke above this this level here, right? Because it was a support and it was a resistance. It was support turned to resistance. So it was a significant level. This was a significant horizontal trend line, and actually you can extend it back for a ways. And once we broke out, I actually added it to my stack. I took profits at around 1265. That's 12,650 satoshis. So I use a lot of what J.J. Murphy talks about in his text, which says to use the wicks as your trend lines. He says that that's the proper way to do it, but he's not super strict. He says some people do use the bodies, but he recommends using the wicks. So if you want, you can draw another trend line here. Basically for me, so I took about 50% profits. The rest I'm going to let it ride. And so these next few days are going to be huge. If we can break out above, if we can basically break out of this descending wedge, and I'm not going to add to the stack on the breakout. If we break out and then bounce back off this and confirm it as a new support, that'd be extremely bullish, because in my opinion that will mean we will have broken out of the consolidation range that I started the video with showing you on the monthly chart. Hopefully that makes sense. It's also always encouraging to see impulses having concomitant large volume spikes. So if this move had occurred on a small volume spike, I think that would be, I don't want to say bearish, but kind of disheartening. But the fact that we're getting this huge volume spike is fantastic. And again, this is the tentative trend line from the monthly consolidation that we were seeing. So say we do get a pullback here. Areas that I would consider buying would be bouncing off here. If we break through this, so I would probably, if we fall through, I think the absolute lowest that we could go would be this purple trend line, and that's probably where I would set my stop losses. Would be right around here, this level, right around 7,100 sats, because we will have broken through this tentative diagonal trend line, as well as this significant horizontal level, right, this wick right here. So that's where my stop loss is. I'm going to set it just a little beneath to give some breathing room, so about 7,100. But yeah, if we can break out, and then I wouldn't buy the breakout, I would buy the pullback once we confirm this is support, and then we go up, then ZRX is going to make some significant moves. I'm not totally convinced that's going to happen. I think we're actually, what I think is going to happen is I think we're going to stay in this descending wedge a little longer. I think we're going to actually end up bouncing off either here or here, if we can match this this price, and then bounce back down. And the reason why I think that is because I'm going to look on the smaller time frame on the 4-hour chart, and we're already starting to get some bearish divergence, right? So we're getting higher highs in price, but we're getting divergence on RSI. That being said, we're confirming this with volume, right? So then one would say, so these would be two. So there's also divergence between our indicators. So you know, everybody has their own indicators, their own styles of technical analysis. I personally place much more weight on volume than I do any other indicator. I think volume is arguably the most important indicator. And And the last thing I just wanted to talk about was the 20 period EMA, how it's functioned as a good trending support resistance line. So let's look at prior breakouts, right? So this was like when the inception of the coin, right? Inflated, and then once they put it on the exchanges, people sell the shit out of it. So once it broke that 20 period EMA and then confirmed as support, that was the beginning of this bullish impulse, right? Then once it broke beneath and confirmed it as resistance, that was the beginning of this pullback, right? And it goes, that pattern continues, right? Break out above, confirm it as support, continue on. Break down below, confirm it as resistance, continue down. So here, we'll fast forward to the last couple of weeks. We've broken above the 20 period EMA, confirmed it as support, and so now this is an impulse. So I will probably exit all profit. I'll close my position completely if we pull beneath the 20 period EMA and confirm it as resistance, as we did here, as we did here, as we did here, and then I'll be looking to enter back again here. So I'll add, I'll probably have, gosh, I don't know, 25% buy on this purple diagonal, probably about 50% just above this horizontal, and I doubt it pulls back all the way here, but I'll probably have I don't know, 25% buy order down here. Hopefully that makes sense. Just some quick thoughts. Sorry for drug out. Anyways, hit us up if you have any questions. All right.